I want you to do something for me. Take your phone out, open any social media app, Instagram, TikTok, it doesn't matter, and just spend 5 minutes swiping through the feed. What do you see? The algorithm feeds you the same diet over and over again. The luxury car that costs more than a house. The entrepreneur screaming that you need to hustle harder. The perfectly curated wardrobe. The constant low-level hum of success defined by accumulation. Now be honest with yourself. When you put the phone down, what do you feel? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel like it inspires you to get up and push through the grind? I don't think so. You feel heavy. You feel behind. You feel a specific type of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. So here's the biggest question, the one we are too scared to ask. Do you think you even need it? Do you think that chasing those things will make you genuinely happy? Or was that desire imposed on you? Has society completely rewired your brain to want a life that deep down you don't actually want at all? Now, I want you to close your eyes and imagine a different life. Forget the penthouse, forget the promotion. Imagine a modest house, a cabin maybe. Somewhere where the air smells like rain and soil, not exhaust fumes. Maybe it is in a village tucked away in the mountains. Maybe it is next to a stillness of a deep green forest, or by a river that moves at its own speed, ignoring the clock. Imagine waking up, not to an alarm and a frantic email notification, but to the sound of wind in the trees. Imagine walking outside and feeding a horse, or a dog, or tending to a small garden. There is no audience, there is no performance. Just you and the living world. If this image moved something in your soul, if it evoked a longing in your heart that feels almost like homesickness for a place you have never been, then this video is meant for you. Because wanting a simple life is not about being lazy, and it is not about giving up. It is a psychological response to a world that has lost its mind. Let's look at why you are ready to walk away. The first reason you are craving this shift is biological. We have to look at how we were built versus how we are living. For 99% of human history, our inputs were organic. The sun rose, we woke up. The sun set, we rested. Information traveled at the speed of a walking human. Threats were occasional, not constant. Today, your brain is processing more data in a single day than your ancestors processed in a lifetime. Traffic noise, sirens, the blue light from screens, the 24-hour news cycle screaming about the next catastrophe, the constant ping of demands from your boss, your family, your apps. You're living in a state of chronic hyperarousal. Your internal wiring is fried. When you say, "I want a simple life," what you are really saying is, "I need the noise to stop." You are craving a reduction in inputs. This is why the fantasy of the farm or the village is so potent. Nature offers what psychologists call soft fascination. When you look at a fire, or a cloud, or a cat sleeping, your attention is held, but it is not drained. It restores you. The city demands your attention. The village invites it. Now, let's talk about the game you are currently playing, the rat race. Sociologists and psychologists often refer to the hedonic treadmill. The idea is simple. You work hard to get the thing you want, the raise, the new apartment, the status symbol. You get it. You feel a spike of dopamine. And then, very quickly, you return to your baseline level of happiness, so you look for the next thing, and the next. The goalpost keeps moving. People who want a simple life have often had a moment of profound clarity. You have looked at the ladder you are climbing and you realized it is leaning against the wrong wall. You realize that the cost of winning is your life. You are trading your time, the only non-renewable resource you have, for money, to buy things you don't have time to enjoy, to impress people you don't even like. Choosing a simple life is not a retreat. It is a rebellion. It is an act of opting out of a system that is designed to keep you hungry. It is realizing that enough is a metric you set for yourself, not a target set by the economy. When you stop trying to be someone, you are finally free to be yourself. The cabin in the woods represents the death of the ego and the birth of the self. But why the animals? Why do so many of these fantasies involve a farm, or horses, or just a lot of dogs or cats? It is because the modern world is abstract. You sit at a computer. You move digital files from one folder to another. You have meetings about meetings. At the end of the day, you are exhausted, but you haven't done anything. There is no physical product of your labor. This creates a sense of alienation. You are detached from the fruit of your work. A simple life is usually a tangible life. If you chop wood, you see the pile of wood. If you plant a tomato, you eat the tomato. It is cause and effect. It is honest work. Psychologically, this grounds us. It reconnects us to the cycle of life that we have paved over with concrete. But deeper than the work is the connection with other species. In the simple life, animals stop being pets and start being anchors. Think about what happens when you look into the eyes of a horse, or when a dog rests its head on your lap after a long day. There is no judgment. They do not care about your bank account. They do not care if you gained weight. They do not care if you said something awkward at a party 3 years ago. They only care about your energy. They only care about you. This is profound because in the human world, almost every interaction is transactional. We are constantly scanning each other. What can you do for me? What is your status? Are you a threat? It is exhausting. But an animal offers what psychology calls unconditional positive regard. They witness you without evaluating you. When you are with them, your social mass drops. You don't have to be the funny one, the smart one, or the successful one. You just have to be the kind one. And there is something even deeper happening in the brain. Animals regulate us. When you are near a calm animal, your heart rate actually slows down to match theirs. It is a biological syncing. They pull you out of your head and into your body. They force you to be present because they are always present. A horse does not worry about tomorrow. A dog does not regret yesterday. They live in the eternal now. And when you live with them, when you wake up to feed them, when you care for them, they teach you how to live there too. You are not just taking care of them. They are taking care of your soul. They are the silent therapists that remind you that you are part of nature, not separate from it. The simple life is often just a craving to be loved for who you are, not for what you produce. You have heard of FOMO, the fear of missing out. It is the anxiety that hits you when you see everyone else at the party, everyone else traveling, everyone else living their best life. But the person who moves to the village discovers the antidote, JOMO, the joy of missing out. There is a profound, exquisite pleasure in not knowing what everyone is doing. There is a relief in being unreachable. When you live simply, you stop curating your life for an audience. You stop performing. You realize that while everyone else is rushing to the newest restaurant to take a photo of their food, you are sitting on your porch watching the stars come out. and you don't feel like you are missing anything. You feel like you have finally arrived. You realize that the events you are missing were mostly noise anyway. The drama, the posturing, the networking, it was all just distraction. By missing out on the noise, you are tuning into the signal. You are tuning into the rhythm of your own heart, which has been drowned out for years. There is a difference between being alone and being lonely. In the city, you are surrounded by millions of people, yet you have likely never felt more isolated. That is the paradox of modern density. We are stacked on top of each other, but we do not connect. We perform. We wear headphones to avoid eye contact. We rush past neighbors we have lived next to for years without knowing their names. We have contacts, but we do not have a tribe. In the simple life, the solitude is different. It is expansive. When you are alone in nature, you do not feel the absence of people. You feel the presence of life. But here is the secret that nobody tells you about moving to a small town or a village. It is actually where you find the community you have been starving for. In the city, relationships are often based on utility. What do you do? Who do you know? Can we collaborate? In a village, relationships are based on shared humanity. When you move to a place where life is slower, the barriers between people start to dissolve. You rely on each other in a way that modern city dwellers have forgotten. If your car breaks down, a neighbor stops. If someone is sick, food appears on their doorstep, not because they want something from you, but because that is just what you do. This touches on a deep evolutionary need. We were not designed to live in anonymous hives of millions. We were designed to live in tribes where we are known, where your baker knows your name, where the person at the post office asks about your dog. This might seem small, but psychologically, it is massive. It signals to your brain, I belong here. I matter here. In the rush of the city, you are replaceable. In the simplicity of the village, you are a necessary thread in the fabric. People stop pretending. When you strip away the fancy job titles and the expensive clothes, you are just left with people. And you find that you can have conversations that are real, grounded, and devoid of the desperate need to impress. You help each other out, not for credit, but for connection. And in that connection, you find a cure for the deep, aching loneliness that no amount of social media likes could ever fix. We have to address the shadow side. If the simple life is so amazing, why doesn't everyone do it? Why are you still in the city? Because of fear. We are conditioned to believe that simple means failure. We are taught that if we aren't growing, we are dying. If you move to a small town, if you step off the career track, the ego screams, what will they say about me? Will I be irrelevant? Will I be wasting my potential? This is the hardest hurdle to clear. We have conflated potential with economic output. But what about your potential for joy? What about your potential for stillness? What about your potential to actually know your children, or to read books, or to just sit and watch the rain without feeling guilty? The people who successfully make the shift are the ones who have stopped needing the world to clap for them. They have found a validation that comes from within. They have accepted that being nobody to the world allows them to be somebody to themselves. So, if you are sitting there looking at your screen and you feel that pull toward the mountains or the coast or the farm, do not dismiss it as a daydream. It is a signal. It is your intuition trying to save you from a life that is consuming you. You're not crazy for wanting to opt out. You're not lazy for wanting to slow down. You're simply waking up to the fact that the prize at the end of the rat race is not worth the running. You do not have to burn